All right, ladies and gentlemen. All right, all right, all right, all right. What's going on? We're at August 19th, Wednesday, right? We in the afternoon. Some, it might be earlier afternoon, depending on where you're listening to your boy. Some might be a little bit later in the afternoon in the nation, depending on where you listen to your son. But regardless, welcome in us. A different view family here who believe in, who love after, who have fun with, who learn, who hunger and thirst, search and seek to find that which is a different view. Family, welcome in. All right, we're back. We apologize for that. Again, we got the little notification that the phone was overheating a bit. This is where we do our little thing from. So we just wanted to make sure we had all of the ducks put in a row. We shut off the sound. So we're all raring, ready to go today, family. Your boy and the missus, shout out to your honey one time. We're watching Dancing with the Stars Pro, man. How many people seen that show so far over the last couple of weeks, right? Our Dancing with the Stars fans of a different view family out there, huh? How many of y'all like it? You been liking the show? Man, I've been, it took me a minute to get into the show a little bit, right? So again, today's topic is teaching necessary, family. That's where we're going to go. Again, your boy is Christian with this, so we're going to put a bit of a Christian spin on it. I apologize, right, for us Christians who do not get down like the 20 sisters or so. Maybe there was some brothers in there that were involved in a debate with Jasmine from TikTok. Sister, we thank you for your boldness, for your conviction. For those who are going to have an issue with what I'm saying right now, this don't matter which denomination you're in, right? We understand that Catholic brothers and sisters like to put themselves in a different denomination. Again, if you believe in the Lord Jesus Christ, death, burial, resurrection, God, creator and maker of heaven and earth and the universes, then there are certain things we all share a similarity with. I do not go behind that denominational mess. OK, I'm saying it that way purposefully because all it is exactly what the word denomination shows is a division, not a unification like the word Catholic. So again, maybe the church as a whole is less denominated and more unified, but I digress. I do not play in the space that's going to cause anything for slavery, misogynistic mess, none of that here on this podcast. Brothers who impregnate women and leave, governments that are okay incarcerating our dear dark brown and tan skin tone brothers and sisters. Let's see if I can, I don't know if I can find this because it may have a bit of the adult language in it, and we try to not, we try. There have been some times there, especially with that girl, that Houston cop there that got fired for being racist and bigoted, and she was. Unfortunately, it was one of our Latin sisters who was showing off massive traits. It's unfortunate, right? But you pay the price for it, family. We pay the price for the things that we do wrong. Okay, this don't matter who it is. Again, we know the man has put out here this kind of idea. Again, is teaching necessary, family? That's today's topic. We want to let you know from the jump, teaching is kids are going back to school now, right? Matter of fact, as we're here, let me just do this real quick so we can introduce this into the topic. We just wanted to share this out for people so they can, just come on in and enjoy, right? Sit down, grab a cold one. It could be water, whatever you got, right? And just enjoy this. We'll go for a little bit here. We ain't trying to go long today, whole people, right? something to listen to, maybe be on your drive home, so on and so forth. So. Teaching, family, is highly necessary. Okay. I know in order to get a quick buck out the church, and all for people in general, right? Those who do believe and don't believe, like we were just talking about our dear sister Jasmine, who had to sit there on the quote unquote firing squad and watch Christians do what they have done so well across the country, which is across the planet, excuse me, which is be good agents for massa. There is nothing in the Great Commission. There is, and again, I don't get invited well to a lot of the denominational parties because of this, and that's okay. That's okay. I'd rather be like John the Baptist out in the desert somewhere, doing what's necessary, and I don't put anything on myself because, again, what the grace given to me is what I operate in, so it's not anything of me. Okay. But at the end of the day, we're not going to take the gifts we're given and then go bashing other people of different nations here. Let me shut down my mic a little bit. I'm a little hot in the mic, I think, because I get hot. I don't want to get hot in the mic, getting hot on this right now. But brothers and sisters, we don't. I don't have time for the we don't have time for the disrespectful rhetoric no more. We just don't. Our dear brothers and sisters, we're finding again, being unalived from nature, from trees. God created them things. Again, talking about this thing here with Jasmine just for a second. Again, we're talking about is teaching necessary, family. We're going to get into the definition of the word teach here for a second, and we're going to leave it. We ain't going into the Greek. We ain't going into the Hebrew. You can do all that as layers to expound upon the thing. But at the end of the day, right, and expound the big old word for just, again, adding on layers to what you're talking about. At the end of the day, family, we ain't got no more time to be bashing the other cultures of the planet. The judgments start in the house, and you deal in the house, exactly what it say in the script, right? We have established here on this podcast that sometimes when I speak on the Bible, it's a script, okay? Because it's the word scripture is there, okay? I don't have time to bash other folks. We don't. It is disrespectful when we do. Again, we have read the inverse, right? Later on in the New Testament, I understand people whether they want to put weight on the New or the Old Testament when we're supposed to be taking the whole Bible as a thing here, but I digress. At the end of the day, family, we are being judges of evil thoughts. That's something that you can Google right now what that verse is, because family, that's what it is. We're not judging holiness, justice, truth, righteousness, freedom, equality. We're not none of that. What we are doing is trying to make a base using the Bible, using God. How wild is that? To be mean boys and girls to each other. This is why we shout out our sister on TikTok, Gianna, right? For her, to put the respect on her name, Gianna Jara, right? Who's doing her thing out there, sis. Thank you for your education, sis. When it comes to feminine health, ladies and men, because again, if the woman is good enough for us to screw, brothers, then she's also good enough for us to learn what's going on with her body of which we're screwing, huh? Okay. If that's the case, it's time for us to sit down at the tree of learning and learn, family. We're talking about, especially when you talk about the dark brown and tan skin tone peoples, the folks that oppose them, the adversaries, again, with your indigenous brothers and sisters across the planet, or at least the ones here in North America, call them devils, right? Because all devil means is adversary. They were adverse, family, to dark brown and tan skin tone people learning. To learning. I did not just say black folks, all dark brown and tan skin tone people groups. You tell me which ones those are. Again, here on these lands, when this government was constructed, there are some that are unrecognized. They have all kinds of weird excuses why they're unrecognized. But when you go back into their Explorer books, they give you the shape of the face, the skin tone, the likeness of hair that is very similar to your black brothers and sisters. Yet you don't know those tribal names. You tell me why. Those are the same people over the educational system. Do you think they're telling you it's necessary? They never will. To teach, brothers and sisters, as we lay this down right now, right? This one's from Merriam-Webster's dictionary. To give knowledge. To show how to do something. To help someone learn a skill or a subject. Brothers and sisters, you're dealing with your adversary over the educate. We said of the 9 points, right? The 9 people, 10 added on by Dr. Francis Cress Welsing. And we've been on that lately, family, because again, repetition's necessary for learning, not because I don't have anything to talk about. Teaching, family, to give knowledge, to learn. Let's do this in real time. What's the word learn mean, right? Because again, another one of these things in the church is everybody got to be a disciple. You can't be a student, because that's all disciple means, without teachers, right? Okay. So what does learn mean? To get knowledge. Okay. I want to be very clear here, okay? These money grabbing preachers, man, for you non-caring about people preachers, if you love God that much, don't be worried about the disciple. Be more worried about us teaching. And you won't have to worry about the disciples because you'll be teaching. Can't nobody get knowledge? Again, the word learn means to. So in all thy, what is it? In all thy getting, huh? Get understanding. Do you know why that can be told to you in the scripture? Because God is the one who gives without upbraiding. So it's there, right? I understand the verse talk about you got to ask. We get it. Lord, folks find some excuses. But God, the knowledge is there. On this planet, family, the knowledge is there to learn. Do you know what we are lacking? Exactly what it talk about in the script, which is, and my apologies, family, for a lot of the Bible references right now. But again, it's time to break down some of this mess. Okay? I understand right now in deconstruction deals. Sorry about that. My voice thing clicked in. That was weird. We're trying to get to the parts here that we can glean from instead of constantly around that, because there's truths here that you see all over the planet that if we start following that, we're good. And again, all this got spurred on all it is that your brother talking about. And again, don't think the word rant here. Rant deals with you saying something that is babbling. There's nothing babbling or nonsensical going on here. This is a truth where we have to speak. Again, we have to learn. We have to get the knowledge from a thing that we are saying to each other. Sometimes friends, when they're talking to each other, you're passing knowledge to each other, whether it's about the pain of the day you went through, how much your boss was a jackass, how much, your girl or your man ain't doing you right. Again, you're getting knowledge off a thing. And sometimes even when they use this word trauma bonding, in reality, family, we are going through pain. We're going through harm. We are going through shame. When we talk to each other about stuff, dig this. The rest of this is coming from Merriam-Webster, actually a combination either of Merriam-Webster's dictionary or Cambridge, right? Getting knowledge, a skill. This is learning now. Understanding through study, teaching. Dig that. Again, the teachers, where are the teachers? The harvest is plenty. The laborers are few. Okay. Those who need to learn are plenty. I know we're going to spiritualize it, but pause on that for a second and just look at the plain truth that's being shown to us. Those who need to learn are plenty. The teachers are few. Again, to get knowledge, to get skill, understanding through study or through teaching or through practice or through life's experiences. Us trying to do a thing where we keep doing this individualized type of thing, or we show a person once or twice and you're supposed to get it, is a load of BS. Do you understand, family, where your brother's coming from? Again, are there certain people who learn things by being shown once? Yeah, of course. Are there people who we constantly keep hearing that say the following: if you show me and I am doing it as you show me, I learn? Yeah, of course. Again, that's practice. Again, that they learn through practicing. That's doing the thing. Maybe I'm bugging, right? Let's just look at the word practice for a second. It's like, but again, you dealing with a man who's set up an environment in a society of life here, where when you're talking about the educational people practice that Dr. Neely Fuller Jr. talked to us about, that educational system that they control, because this ain't Latin folks controlling this. This ain't Spanish, Spanish, Latin, when it all coming from Europe anyway. This is no shot on my brown brothers and cousins and sisters. You know what I'm saying? But this is what it is. Spain, Hispanic, Spain, that's Spain. Latin is Rome and Italy. I'm sorry. Okay. They hold sway over how you learn, what your customs should be, not what they are, what they should be, because they're different than theirs. Yours is already disqualified. That's how it works. That it's not disqualified. They disqualify it. You know how much we're missing on the back end? So again, practice. The word practice means doing something over and over to get better at it. Family, don't you know sometimes people got to, and the teacher, see, again, you learn through the teaching or practicing, right? The teachers, see, this goes for MMA folks who are teachers and coaches and all this, for sports, because we got football coming up and little leagues and peewee leagues and all this stuff. You weirdo coaches out there, again, they're not going to learn unless you teach them. And you can stay on this kind of Cobra Kai kind of mess from Karate Kid all you want to. See, again, family, the learning is many, but the teachers are few. We can excuse around this all we want to, family. People's personalities are involved in this. How folks learn are involved in this. Shout out the therapist one time. Again, we got many layers of pain. This is for me like anybody else. And what we like to do is rationalize. That's the word that's used. Again, what your brother likes saying is that there's defenses in the mind. There are excuses that we use that is stopping us from growing, because we're literally shutting down the natural process by which we learn, which is teaching. The teacher is imbalanced. Again, this is a thing for me like anybody else. This is why when we get into this topic, teaching, right, is shown as one of the fivefold ministries in the Bible, right? Again, we got preachers who are okay making a good quick buck out here. Not all of them, because again, you got to fit a certain denominational standard in order by which to make said money, just like it is out here in master system. You got to be able to, man, I want to say it a certain way. You got to be able to stroke that machine right in order to be able to make that money, right? But that's not how it works in life. Again, a person who works should eat. That is what John Smith said. We read that from the book, right? A School Learning of the Negro Race in America, right? We had talked about that from Edward A. Johnson. You can listen to the last episode about it. Speaking of the events that happened in Jamestown, right? When the invaders came calling, okay? And how those who were the rich YT men there specifically, because again, the women really doesn't count. This is just for the men. We're not saying that's what it is. We're saying that's how it's been made to be. And at the end of the day, they didn't want to work. Indolent was the word that's used in the book, family, which is a big old word for lazy, which lazy means the not wanting to show effort. That they want you to do it. They don't want to do it. Know that. Don't let them. They can talk around you and give you good excuses. I mean, masses. How is this? Since Spanish is English, masses maestros. they like to teach you a good way to keep you bound mentally, family, right? Again, maestro in Spanish means teacher. And at the end of the day, family, they want to keep you a certain way for them. We said we were going to get into the Willie Lynch letter. We may do it next time. Okay? Because again, I don't want to drag this out too long. But in that letter, clearly they tell you, you have to have a dependency upon them alone, not your people, not each other collectively, just the plantation owner, the slave owner. You know, we put something up on TikTok that it's got a problem with certain people right now, right? Again, the simple historical event. America. Again, that's a word given from Europeans on top of what indigenous people, call these lands. That's not even what they called it. Okay. And at the end of the day, in the title, it says the American government. Matter of fact, I'm here on this, so we'll bring it up. We have no issues with this, brothers and sisters, because at the end of the day, this is what it is. We either believe a thing or we don't. Slave owners receive reparations from America for losing slaves once slavery was over. Let that sink in. Family, sometimes we don't let that sink in. Do you know that the type of things that we've heard in response to family, we know it's coming. We already know it's coming. We put it out there for, again, as people who teach each other, and we all can teach each other on some level, even though we have higher teachers, right? This is an historical event that happened. The game is the way it is, family, because this happened. Those who did the harm, because that's who the slave owner is. We're not playing that game over here. They got paid for doing the harm. Yeah, we know the South tanked. That's what massa do. See, again, you need a good patsy. The slave owner was the patsy to set them up and then cause them to bottom out on the back end, why there is an allegiance still to that to this day, I have no clue. But again, massa needs a good patsy. You've been taught very well. That makes people mad when you say that, but it's the truth. There is a hierarchy to this, just like there is a casta system with our Latin brothers and sisters. Again, the man did the same mess all over the world. Whether you're talking Australia, Indonesia, whether you're talking over in Southeast Asia, whether you're talking even in Europe, you look at European battles. This is how they operate. Look at the illiteracy system or the illiteracy rate throughout history. This teaching is necessary, family. The hard worker is not going to get paid in their system. The lazy person is. Just how it works. We can all have these success stories where we say, hey, I did this, that, and the other for blah, 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 and they gave me something. That's going to be always in the lower percentage than to those who sit back on that porch with their arms folded watching you work. That this is the only way we come up above it, family, is where we support each other. And no, just like our dear brothers and sisters in Tulsa, Oklahoma, the man gonna come calling to unalive there. This is how that don't stop us from doing what we're supposed to do, family. This is the design, unfortunately. Again, teaching is necessary. You got to share the information, y'all. Somebody trying to figure this out on their own ain't gonna work. An excuse that things happened years ago is not going to work, which is why a lot of times your boy on different social media platforms, good time to put this in here, right? Well, we got some folks in. Oh, welcome in those who come in. You can find the podcast on Pandora, Spotify. That's the OG group, right? Shout out Spotify family one time. Apple, right? The name of the podcast is A Different View. We got like over 200 some odd episodes or more, right? It's been going on for a few years now. Also on YouTube at A Different View 80. The channel name is at A Different View 80. You'll find the A Different View folder there. and click on it. Same thing. All the episodes are there, or at least the ones that they'll let me put there with copyrights with music and all other types of weird stuff. Even the beats that I put on there, they have issues with it. It's weird. But anyway, you know, and of course here on KJ's Clock, whenever we do these lives, these kind of podcast lives, right? Let's get back into this here. With these things here, we're going to specifically Ephesians 4:11, and he gave some apostles, prophets, evangelists, pastors, and teachers for the perfecting or completing, right? Perfect, we get weird on, of the saints. Again, with same thing. Saints, we get weird. People, right? For the work of the ministry and the edifying of the body of Christ. Okay. Again, teacher is there. We evangelist, or right, like the evangelistic group who's okay, kind of spreading slavery and everything else right now. Again, that the evangel means good news. I guess that's the only good news for them, is that everybody else is going to have to be beat down, right? That's not the good news that I'm familiar with, but I digress. A pastor is like a shepherd. Okay. Again, we're just going through this real quick. I'm not going to, I could break it down. I'm not going to break it down right now. Pastors or shepherd, you got to get involved enough with people. This is the same thing with teachers. If you have information that you've been given, and you've been given it because at one point you didn't know. So it's time for us to tell each other something you didn't know. You know, many times when you're looking at people with this stuff, it's weird how imbalanced sometimes we all can become, right? Because you didn't know. Now you know. And it's like we act high and mighty with the knowledge. That's the gift you were given. And then this is how the parents do it with their kids. What are we doing? The only way you're going to, again, in the script, right? In the scriptures, script, base word, okay? It lets you know to not provoke your kid. Of course, fathers, these are the ones who like to say they're the head of the household. But then when it comes to certain things, you don't want to be the head of the household. Love these children, man. Love them enough. Love them enough to lead them through the path of knowledge. Everybody ain't going to get it right away. What are we doing? Apostle just means sent one. Before folks they go way hog wild with this. Apostle just means sent one. So there's certain people who can teach. I guess you want to say apostle teacher, you're sent. Okay. Again, we're simplifying the thing. I'm not going crazy with this. Folks like staying on the prophet thing because you like people actually telling you what to do instead of us finding out and learning together, which means then personal responsibility comes in. That's for me like anyone else. So again, for somebody to come, we played the clip of Sherry Shepherd, right? Folks love prophecy so much, man. Sherry Shepherd, right? Hey, the rapture's coming, this, that, and the other. And she stopped paying her bills and stuff. And sure enough, the rapture didn't happen because some South American prophet, preacher, pastor, whatever, want to come off what God told you. It's time for us to learn the natural inner voice intuition, family, which is connected to the divine, aka God, is how it's said over in Christianity. And at the end of the day, you won't have to worry about another preacher telling you something. That's not to negate this prophet thing. But again, we're leaning and relying too much on something. We got our own antenna. For our homosexual brothers and sisters, they call it the gaydar. You can know, and that's not a shot at our brothers and sisters. We're saying you can know. It's in you. I know this is right about the time we talking about our Jasmine brother and our Jasmine sister, excuse me, and brothers who also think the same way. That as she's being berated by these Christians, like, listen, pause on all that. Please. Again, we got our own thing to worry about than trying to convince someone else. That's a waste of energy. That's a waste of energy. We got more time. Again, verse 12 here is talking about perfecting the saints. Can't nothing be completed unless we're working on our own completion. But again, what are we doing? I have no time to be talking about somebody else when I'm finding out about me. We could get into like this thing with bishops and deacons and all that kind of thing. Again, all these words keep coming back to elder. And again, the elders are the biggest teachers in any community. They've lived the longest. So you're going to have the biggest opportunity for knowledge. That does not mean that young people do not have knowledge, as they do. But many times it may be in smaller amounts than the elder, solely because of how long you have lived on the planet. That's it. It does. Another one of these things in the Willie Lynch letter is to pit the old against the young. Good God, if we could understand that. And the young against the old. Because you have strength over your elder does not mean you should disrespect them. And you got a lot of elders out here not worthy of no respect at all. I understand we like to hide behind this kind of thing, that it's okay to respect elders. Being disrespectful, devil a liar. There is a certain way that you can act around people who are disrespectful, but to be treated as a doormat, that is wrong. And we got a certain part of the population of the podcast who is young here, that 0 to kind of 21 age that listens to this podcast, but letting you know there is a certain, and this is not going to be popular with Massa and friends. We are letting you, again, if you have a mentality here that is okay, disrespecting youth just because you're older, that is how Massa thinks. Saying what it is. At the end of the day, the youth have something to teach us just the same as the elder has something to teach us. We have to be pliable enough to listen. Right? That in itself is the teacher teaching. Okay? So a bishop is just an elder. Okay? The same thing with this deacon. Again, and shout out to the people in the churches like your cameramen. Same thing in businesses, right? The people who are doing the work not being credited properly because we operate under masses. Many operate, I should say, under masses mentality. Man, shout out to y'all one time. And when you look over in Titus, right? Titus is one of these that they go to a lot. Titus 1, you get down to verse 7. Right? For a bishop must be blameless as a steward of God. Interesting, the word steward is there. You don't own the thing, y'all. Come away. Again, steward is dealing with you over something. You know, I had seen a brother of mine one time, he trying to flip it where like stewardship's better than ownership. We're not above God. We ain't going there. We ain't not even close. We're not trying to no. You're in charge of that which you do not own. So that already comes with a certain gravity, right? A certain weight to it. Glory is another one of these words, just to introduce this in real quick. Glory just means weight or gravity, right? Responsibility. That like you can get into all that type of a thing. The glory shown of mankind is only from that which God made. Just to put a Christian thing to this. Okay. And we understand different people groups who don't believe in that. We understand. Again, we're just to put a Christian thing to this. So to keep yourself from going higher than you ought to think, you've been given a thing. That's the word steward. Okay. As stewards of God, not self-willed, old school English term for this is not just about you. So when preachers got mad at Drewski for calling them out for constantly being up in all that good, and your congregation is driving around in beaters, that's a problem. Not soon angry. Again, soon, I didn't say don't get angry. Again, be angry and sin not. So not soon angry, not given to wine. I gotta go there. Maybe our Catholic brothers and sisters are like this, right? It said not given to wine. Given to wine denotes where that's all you do. AKA winos. That's how we said it in the street back in the day, right? No striker. I hope we ain't gonna be beating up on our wives, right? The wives, because again, I understand we got a problem with the women being in these roles too. But again, I'm pretty sure for the Bible telling you that if people won't praise God, that the rocks will cry out, I'm pretty sure the women can too. Not a striker. Okay. and not given to filthy lucre. Nobody said the ministers are not supposed to make money, which is why when folks go hog wild about the prosperity message, I don't know. Which is why when folks go hog wild about the prosperity message, I don't know. All right. Hopefully folks can hear me here, right? If you can, here in the chat, just shout out here. But again, we're back. We had, again, the phone overheated, so it is what it is. We are going to take both of these lives here, mash them together, and we'll put them out for our Spotify and other podcast listeners or viewers. I guess if you're viewing with your mind, right? We're going to finish off what we were saying. Took me a minute to get back, and then we're going to finish off the conversation. So, matter of fact, let's just see if the audio is working. We're going to play a little clip here that I found, highly disrespectful, right? Because clearly folks have a problem with your Navy brothers and sisters. I thought we were okay. We're going to test the audio here just to see if this works, right? So family, y'all let me know if y'all hear this.
How weak are you on TV complaining about tuna and noodles? I'm sorry. You volunteered to serve your country. You can come back and get.
I want to, because again, the topic is teaching necessary, right? This is what we were talking about. Family, what is this man here teaching by saying what he's saying? Brothers and sisters, we want to let you know that there is a group here that is okay supporting massa on any level, every level, okay? And a group who is not, okay? They will disrespect whoever they have to continue this thought process to go and grow. And then there are those who do not. Okay? In this instance, when it comes to our military brothers and sisters, which is why anytime life starts to show up, certain things starts to show up, whether it's societal or whatever it is, you normally see a division inside even the military. Why? Because you got certain, again, same thing on the streets is the same thing in the military house. Like we say on the podcast a lot, the same thing that happened out on the street happened in the home first. And where we had stopped before my phone got too hot here is this idea with the prosperity message. Again, Titus is talking about this idea where you're not, let's see if I can find it here. I got to use a little smaller screen so the live and everything stays together here. Yeah, bishops, again, elder, that's all it's dealing with. Folks that are not giving a filthy lucre. Family, nobody is saying that you shouldn't make money. You're supposed to make money in this world. Again, those who don't work shouldn't eat, which means you should eat if you work. Family, unfortunately, we're not putting two and two together. Again, I've gone beyond certain things here to understand that this is where we got to be. This is where we have to be. This isn't even like an option anymore. This is where we have to be. Always has been. Before you get to this whole idea of the part of the bishop being blameless is to be given to having money. You got to make money to be able to have areas and venues and places to teach people as an elder. Okay. But the idea where you're okay putting up just a certain group of people that fit a certain mold, like what happened last year with our dear sister who was even doing a little prank and everything. People want to get caught up on the prank. What we should have got caught up on, family, was the opportunity to help. And I think maybe it was like one or two instances where folks were just willing to help. The government is doing more fleecing down than that sister could ever. Let's say it again. Your government will do more fleecing down, since people like playing in this church separation, church state mess. Again, what you believe in, which is what you find up in the church or in the mosque or in a synagogue or wherever there's a meeting of folks who believe something, you're going to find that intertwines with and connects to state, government, federal government all over the planet historically forever and ever. Amen. We like to play around in this space where maybe it's not that, maybe it is that. Listen, we got to understand that, hey, people learn through who is giving them the knowledge, aka who's teaching them. That's all we got to do is just teach each other. That's it. We teach each other, we're straight. We stop, we're screwed. It's that simple. And welcome in those who come on into the this little podcast ditty. We finishing off what we had going on before the live shut down there. So welcome in. And it just shut down because my phone got hot. Not because of not because of anything else. Right. Not yet anyway. We had a whole thing where we were doing something talking about women's physiology and TikTok didn't like that. So they restricted where certain places went. Again, if we can't talk again, teaching, if you cannot, nobody's sitting here and trying to be weird and gross or nothing like that. The lack of knowledge on the female physiology. Again, we started off the podcast. So as we come to the close, we're going to finish it. If men are okay screwing women without understanding the woman's physiology you're screwing, we're going to have a problem. And we let too much of societal type of weirdness that they make money off of lead the way on how we gain knowledge on this, and it's dangerous. That's all we're saying. So again, when you bring it back over into a spiritual sense, these are some of the places where you ought to be hearing about this, whether it be your native brother and sister, whether it be your Asian brothers and sisters and the different beliefs they believe in, whether it be your brothers and sisters from the nation of India. Okay. That's why we don't knock the Kumasatra. I mean, I understand folks like to go there and what's demonic and all that. No, is what's put down here by the good God above over here on the Christian side of things. And we should pay attention to it. Or we don't have to. I mean, either or, right? But it's an enhancement and a learning to our lives as a result. The go on here, we had stopped reading Titus chapter 1. The go on here in verse 8 is a lover of hospitality, a lover of good. Now, I'd say men, we understand the world down here just don't have men. There's women too. So good people, right? You can switch out the word man there for people. Sober, again, in your mind, sound mind, right? Self-control. This is what sobriety deals with. Okay. And shout out for those who are going through their path of sobriety right now. Let's do that real quick. Life is hard, but people are tougher, right? Okay. Let's stop to applaud that for a second. So sober, just, holy. Again, it doubles down on sober by saying temperate. Okay. Again, balance. There's self-control here. Right. We never, ever hop on the podcast to make fun of anyone. But family, there's certain things that we must say. There's certain things that have to be said that are not being said and skirted over. And it's just not cool. When we do this thing on teaching, family, right? And again, we had started all this talking about that Dancing with the Stars thing. We hope y'all like the show. It's a cool little, switch there from just watching the regular episodes. Of course, we know there's a couple people they got this the banana ball thing. And don't get me wrong, we understand there's jokes and there's dances and it's cute for the different things we see on TikTok. The fact that you added in the Indianapolis Clowns, which is a hallowed organization inside the Negro Leagues, and it's turned into like this kind of a joke. And like, oh, well, in the Negro Leagues, they did jokey things. Like, yeah, sometimes I like being careful on that just because, again, it meant something. It meant that operations, again, baseball kicked the Negro out. Whereas where you get the Negro Leagues from, because they put on a good show out of being kicked out. So putting them back into something that's just a joke now is really not showing a full respect, even though you're showing you kind of do. So I'm cautious with that always, right? Teaching is necessary, family. That's the plain and simple truth. And it's time that the teachers stood up. Don't get mad, parents, at your kids. They're trying to learn something. It's just teach them. If they need 19, 80, 100 million times of teaching them, that's why it's beautiful when you get that empty nest, right? Don't be quick to kick them out. For as long as you got breath in your body, you're going to be teaching them something, and it's okay. The same way, and unfortunately with our elders, many times they didn't get that. Some of them did. All of them didn't. Some of them got it the hard way, by being knocked upside the head by one of their parents, unfortunately. Right? Again, another thing to be said here is in how, or the types of teaching, the types of giving knowledge. Everything worked different strokes for different folks, family. And just like we just finished talking about romantic relational type of things, we'll just say it that way because we're on TikTok, and TikTok makes people use small words and non-adult like language for real-time talking, but I digress. At the end of the day, family, we got to understand that, hey, this is real. This is life. And we got to keep on going with it. That different people going to learn differently. That doesn't make the other one worse than the other. Again, another one of those things we mentioned in the Willie Lynch letter. Another one of those things in the letter is this smarter and who's more educated, and listen, that all of that mess is just so that master can make a good slave. Stop dissing each other's intelligence, man. Everybody learns at a different level. That's it. It's really that simple. We all learn at different levels. We all grow, just like different physical. I had to plug my computer in there for a second. Just like all different physical prowess. It's all different out here. And trying to lump everything into the same thing. Again, that was a thing done by lazy folks who didn't want to do nothing. Okay? They didn't want to till that land. They wanted you to. Matter of fact, when they came over here, they didn't know where the hell they were because it wasn't the same streets they was on in Europe. They needed somebody to show them. They needed our native brothers and sisters and whoever else to show them where they was going. That's written all over their books. We can either excuse that or we don't. Right. So, family, that's where we just wanted to talk about. Before we end, because we talked about Jasmine in the church. Mr. Andy Serkis, Sir Gollum, right? Bro, you may be holding on to that ring a little bit, in your mind, like in real life, a little bit too much. For you to come out and say the things that you had to say, right? Just like this guy here, we were testing the audio, but again, you want to make fun of the military. Do you know the mess they got to deal with out there to protect? Listen. Protection of land is a real thing regardless, no matter where you at. Your African brothers and sisters do it. Your Asian brothers and sisters, everybody doing it. It's a thing because you got fools out here that's okay taking stuff, right? At the end of the day, family, how you going to make fun of... Listen, our military should be eating the best. Come on. Let's just stop talking about the military for a second. Again, we understand that there's a certain thought process that I'd heard, which I'm sure is out there, right, in our conscious community here, where, in the Black conscious community, where the military is a place where YT older men tell YT younger men who to unalive. We understand that, okay? We get it. We get the functioning of it, how it has been twisted. But defense for everybody is a real thing. That's a real thing across the board, no matter where, right? Again, everything that you see that man do is going to be twisted and inverted. That's how it works. Understand this. Our military, though, just like our teachers, just like the nurses, anybody, right? Secretaries, they ought to be treated the best, family, because they are making sure they put forth their best to help us get the best return on whatever it is we're doing. And in this case, our dear soldiers. See, the thank you give them is their money. They're supposed to, I'm not talking about your high-ranking officers. We're talking about the low ones. They're supposed to be stacked family. Their family's supposed to be taken care of. But we all know the game. The game is to get the work out of the worker so that the top can never mind. Mr. Andy Serkis. I don't know. So we're talking about J.R.R. Tolkien, who stood vehemently against racism, bigotry in any form. So, in life, bro, how do you come off talking about the Hobbit town is like some for white folks, and bro, what are you saying? What is this?
The Shire feels very much like a very white,
Andy Serkis, the guy who played Gollum in the Peter Jackson Lord of the Rings trilogy, is now directing his own Lord of the Rings movie called The Hunt for Gollum. And in an interview with the BBC, he echoed some pretty racist dog whistles. Let's watch it and talk about it.
Tolkien himself was influenced a lot by Norse mythology.
Yes, Tolkien was influenced by Norse mythology, but that's only in certain parts, like the naming of the dwarves, or making Gandalf a stand-in for Odin, or Midgard, meaning Middle-earth, or the straight road where the elves get from Middle-earth to the Undying Lands being a kind of Bifrost. It is in no way saying that the Shire should feel white, so why does Andy Serkis say this?
The Shire feels very much like a very white,
Let me get my book. I'm reading about one of the groups of hobbits known as the Harfoots. The Harfoots were browner of skin, small.
So you could just stop right there. How do you say, how are you going to say whatever you're going to say about the Shire, bro? Again, it's a fictional area. We get it. Kind of like people saying that the exploits of black folks is fictional. But anyway, at the end of the day, family, listen. Andy Serkis, brother, we don't know what you're talking about. Okay? You see different people groups there. You see one group who thinks there's better than another, right? Leading folks who also think that they're better than another. Where do you think that's coming from? What time period do you think J.R.R. Tolkien grew up in, family? What time period? You look it up. We're going to leave some homework for folks. You look it up. Look up what was going on in history at that time period. Family, where do you think he's pulling the imagery from? Again, he's teaching through his literature. We're good on this mess that is trying to keep up a certain thing, family, that is excluding the rest of the group or restricting the rest of the group of humans at the cost of just one group. Family, that's what this is all about. And it affects education. It affects healthcare. It affects entertainment. It affects labor. It affects law. It affects belief. It affects the relationship between the genders. Family, we said this a long time ago. We're going to stand on it. Many relationships are built out of racism. Many relationships were affected by racism. The Racial Integrity Act is proof of that. Just don't think because in the 1920s it happened over in Virginia, that's the only place. Yeah, it's the only place shown on the books. People got a problem wherever people got a problem. And you didn't need Walter Pleckert to put that on the table. It's already in they have a problem as soon as you see it. The butt cheeks kind of clench as soon as you see it. Why do you think? Anyway, family, we thank you for walking this road with your boy today. We love y'all. God bless y'all. And until next time. And as always, look to find the beauty in a different view.